Marcus Johnson, and this is my geography and practice presentation. For my scenario, I wanted to choose the new light rail system to the growing airport. There was expansion of the regional airport on the outskirts of a mid-sized city that has just been approved, and the county is really concerned about increased traffic congestion to and from the city center. With transportation being a real struggle in the past, the city really wanted to implement a light rail system. We will need to consider numerous variables when starting this project, as the airport is county owned and so is the land it occupies. However, it is surrounded by private farms and different industrial complexes. We therefore really need to determine the most effective number and locations of light rail systems or stations from downtown to the airport. Keeping in mind different uh, land ownership, population clusters, space for parking, and much more. Ironically, I am currently in Italy, which is home to one of the best railroad industries in the world. So a lot of my justification will routinely visit some of the tools that Italians use to manage and create their systems properly. Luigi Contestabile summarizes well, noting that you cannot make a station work if you do not know the outside. You need to incorporate a relationship with the surrounding environment. And with that, I felt that incorporating a couple of GIS tools such as spatial statistics, Parcel Fabric, and also some non-GIS tools and archival research, as I think they will be the best tools necessary to really succeed with this project. Using archival research would be more of like a catalyst to developing some GIS mapping, but we can get an understanding of different population density in relation to capture areas, while also looking at businesses who travel the most in relation to potential users. So like I said, kind of use this data to really catalyze into using the GIS tools, specifically some spatial statistics. I mean, a really critical part of a successful transit route is planning is understanding accessibility and placement. And with the assistance of the archival research, we want to know who lives within the stop catchment area, accessibility to jobs and points of interest, and the level of service offered to different populations in the community. And with this, we can really evaluate numerous data and parameters such as line length, number of lines, number of stations, number of share stations. We can look at the potential users like how I have here with different, maybe some different businesses that may use the airport more frequently. We can really look at the density of a capture area, the mean distance between stations. For example, like I said, just with the businesses, we can really look at this variable, and we can consider for our scenarios to different outline different businesses that travel the most, and possibly incorporate stations nearby those specific businesses across the mid-sized city. I also like to implement another form of GIS technology for this project, which is called Parcel Fabric. And this GIS tool is really a record-driven system that looks at the legal records such as plans, deeds, and record surveys. Parcel and property boundaries are often defined by lines that store coordinate geometry dimensions. This tool can really represent both boundaries, reflecting the legal distances, while also representing the single physical boundary. And this picture here kind of gives a cool representation of different legal boundaries that are occupied by different personnel. So I think this will be a great tool to use when trying to figure out which lines we can use to figure out which stations we can use, and also kind of figure out some negotiations with some of the land ownership. Not only was there some justification for how the Italians utilized spatial analysis to really properly manage and create their stations, but there's also a research report conducted by Estella Pendiga Feco and Pedro Placicia Lozano, where they really emphasize similar approaches to GIS-based analysis of the light rail transit system in Spain, and use this technology to really calculate the mean distance between stations and potential user range and population density in the capture areas, as I really mentioned throughout this presentation. These tools are really used in the real world applications and are the ones I would use to really effectively achieve success with the railroad transportation. And I'll put in the discussion the video of Luigi talking about how they build the light rail stations in Italy and how he emphasizes the success of what they do and how they do it. It's really interesting. It's about a 20-minute video. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And I'll also leave the research report that they did in Spain. And these are my references. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen, and I hope you guys have